Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Ball is Round. CF Montreal gets 1 point from Stade Saputo against Nashville. We'll talk about the Canadian Championship elimination, and of course, finally, we'll talk about the roster chosen by Ref Priestman for the summer send-off. That and a lot more on episode 181 of The Ball is Round. And I'm joined this evening by my friend, Eve Powell. Hey, Eve, how are you today?
I'm finally back among the land of living. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I have had a sick couple of weeks.
Wow. So at least you're now back for the good times at on the Ball is Round. So hopefully
I hope so.
Some better times than what we went through in the past couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about all that because there's a lot to say. Unfortunately, Elias will not be here with us this evening, but he'll be back as usual, hopefully next week. So let's talk first about CF Montreal. We'll talk about the last game first. Yesterday's game at Stade Saputo between CF Montreal and Nashville. So we have already Tate telling you welcome back.
Thank you.
And Patrick has a comment, but we'll leave it for a bit later.
Yeah.
Obviously. So let's talk about what Laurent Courtois has chosen after that horrendous loss at home against Forge FC. So the starting 11 was a bit different with Jonathan Sirois in goal, Gabriel Corbo as a right center back, Joel Waterman in the middle, Alvarez as a left center back. As wing backs, we had Juan on the right, Joaquin Sosa on the left. In the middle, Samuel Piet, Mathieu Chouanière, and up front, Duke, Lassiter, and Vilsan. You look at that starting 11, Eve.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel that Laurent Courtois is trying to really tweak things a bit in order to get something back in that team, get some sort of a second breather in that team?
Yeah, definitely. And, I think when we look at the positions where he made changes, like I would say significant changes, if you will, bringing back Gabriela Corbo for George Campbell and changing the positioning of Ariel Lassiter from left wing back as he had subbed in. I'm going to say subbed in as in like he had served as that position the last few games for Joaquin Sosa. I think he was really targeting a few areas, I felt like. Obviously, with Gabriela Corbo, I've been crying for him, I think, since he left the starting 11, maybe. So I was thrilled to see him back personally. And Joaquin Sosa, we'd seen him play, I think, a few minutes here and there at the end of a couple of matches at left wing back. However, with Ariel Lassiter, it definitely was not working, reverting him to a left wing back in the last few matches. So a change definitely had to be made with Raheem Edwards still injured. I don't know where Lassie Lapalainen is in the pecking order. I can understand as well why he made that change. So yeah, I think it's him finally like saying, okay, something's got to change. And here's what I can deal with, basically.
Yeah, exactly. It felt like it. And I know that Elias, I think in the last episode or a couple of episodes ago, he said he wanted to see Joaquin Sosa in that left wing back position. And you know what? That's what Laurent Courtois did yesterday. And at the same time, we saw again Lassiter and Vilsan being given the start, along with Bryce Duke, who's been very subpar in the last couple of games. So that was interesting.
Yeah, it was.
Sorry, I had to sneeze.
No worries. I was gonna start like just speaking off the top of my head for you.
Wow. Yeah, so I think very interesting move from Laurent Courtois, because at the end of the day, he doesn't have much depth right now with all the injuries that are right now in the squad, and that he has in the squad right now so many injuries. And just to let you know, I saw, because where I sit in the press box, you see who's like not in the roster. They sit right next to where I sit, and we saw Martinez, that was back, by the way, with the team. I know he wasn't in the country for a couple of weeks, so he was back. We saw Matias Kokaro. We saw Nathan Saliba, Lassi Lapalainen that you asked about. He was there too. Mason Toy was there also. So, players are slowly starting to come back, I feel, because I didn't feel that they were still injured, but I didn't feel that their injury didn't let them walk. They were walking just fine, so that's already a plus sign. I didn't see Opoku though. I didn't see him next to the Spears. So that's very curious. And he was supposed to come back a couple of weeks ago, so no status on him, unfortunately. So let's talk about not the game, but let's talk about the individual performances, like we always do here on the Ball is Round. Let's start with Jonathan Sirois. He had so many critics, and rightfully so, in the past couple of weeks. He didn't really help his case yesterday, right?
No. Obviously, I'm sure we're going to talk about it kind of in a different light when we talk about Joel Waterman. But once again, I mean, his distribution could have proven, absolutely suicidal to this team, 100%. I will say that Nashville, I feel like they're incredibly effective at crowding the goalkeeper on set pieces. So I'm not necessarily holding that as much against him, because Nashville was really intense on pressuring him on corner kicks or free kicks and stuff like that. So he didn't have a ton of room to move his body in that regard. But once again, I mean, his distribution, unfortunately, there were times where it was disastrous and it was just so incredibly dangerous. I felt like he was maybe a little bit shaken up after those incidents, because we saw him kind of flapping more at balls that maybe he would have boxed a little bit more effectively, or at least we've seen him kind of handle similar crosses or similar plays differently when he's been kind of in a good run of form. So a very challenging night for him, unfortunately.
Yeah, and we're talking about his distribution, because yes, it is a clean sheet, but the distribution was very, very poor. And we asked him that during the presser, and his answer was I feel that I'm getting better at this, but yes, I made a couple of errors today, and thank God for Joel Waterman that helped me on one of the situations. But I feel that he's aware that this is something that he needs to work on, but in a way, he's telling us that he improved on that. I'm not really sure that I agree with him, but maybe it's a work in progress.
Says no, but okay. Interestingly, though, to address your point on Opoku, just because I don't feel like we're going to come back to it, Andy does say that Opoku was there and that he came a little later.
So maybe I didn't see him after. Maybe I wasn't really concentrated at that time when he came back, but that's good. Thanks, Andy, for the insight. So if you're really next to the players, you should come and introduce yourself. So it would be nice to chat a bit. So feel free to come say hi whenever you can, if you're close by, for sure. Good. So let's move on to the central defense. So Gabriel Corbo, Joel Waterman, Fernando Alvarez. And one of my questions to Laurent Courtois at the presser was, did you choose those two, the right center back and the left center back, being two players with a more defensive profile?
Right.
Was it something that was that you were targeting? And he didn't really answer my question, but he just said that Sosa, he came back because he was a bit injured, and it's all about freshness, but not specifically because it's a defensive profile. So I don't know. I feel that he needed that clean sheet more than anything, but he didn't say it. But I like that. But what did you think about their performances?
So I am very much pro Gabriela Corbo. So for me to see him back in the starting 11, I was so thrilled. Once again, we got, I think, a no frills, clean. He did make one big tackle in the second half. That was like quite a robust tackle, I would say. But once again, like I felt it was safe, steady, calm, like all those words that come to mind that we have not seen from this defense in a good month, I would say. From him, Fernando Alvarez. You know what? I think it was a decent match for him. I wouldn't say it was as excellent as Gabriela Corbo. However, he did make some really good clearances. He did have some interesting forays up toward the attacking half of the pitch when Montreal was enjoying a fair bit of possession. And there were as well, I thought, a few really crucial clearances that he made in the second half, a few interventions with his head and so on and so forth. So I'm gonna obviously Montreal finishes with a clean sheet. So at the end of the day, like you can't hold anything against a defender really. But I'm gonna say like a decent night at the office for him as well. And Joel Waterman was obviously uncontestedly the hero of the night with that goal line clearance off of the turnover from Jonathan Sirois' unfortunate pass to a Nashville player. As well, for me, like his performance was that missing grinta. Like he was putting his body on the line multiple times. Unfortunately, he had to leave the match injured, which I think is a massive concern. He's been, unfortunately, rather inconsistent as well when it comes to his performances over the last, would you say 2 months, maybe, give or take?
Yeah.
But for me, like this was Joel Waterman, like who we were ready to build this defense around last night. This was a player who heard the discontent from all around and really rose above. This was maybe for me his best performance of the season last night.
Yeah, he was very good for me. Man of the match. I know he was elected man of the match by the fans too, which is really good. So I really like that. I feel that it's well deserved because he was, a lot of people see his performance and just have a tendency to only see the goal line clearance, but he did so much more than that.
And you know what? Oh no, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna. I thought he also played like a lot of really interesting passes forward out of the defense towards the attack. A couple of them kind of got killed rather on the counterattack. However, that was probably maybe like also one of my favorite pieces that we hadn't seen from him in quite a long time. I'm so sorry for interrupting you though. Go ahead.
No worries at all. No, exactly. I completely agree. He was his distribution was very good. I feel that he also was the general of that defense. We saw him talk to Gabriel Corbo. We saw him talk to Fernando Alvarez, and I feel that at that point, I feel that those three form the right trio. I think for that starting 11,
it felt good.
It felt really good. And now maybe it would be Sosa be here when Edwards will be back. That's a possibility.
Yeah.
But I feel that those three really work well together. So hopefully we'll see that again against DC United on this Wednesday. Exactly. And let's talk a bit. I'll talk a bit about Fernando Alvarez. I feel that I like what he brings. I really like what he brings. He's so good in the air.
Yeah.
Really is so good in the air. And he's not very tall, right? So, but he wins a lot of headers. And when he has the ball, it's a bit shaky, but most of the time, man-to-man marking is very good. He's never out of position, which is really, really interesting. So I really love that. And Gabriel Corbo, we all know what he can bring. And you know what? He showed it again yesterday. Again, if you want that center back that comes and gives you that extra option offensively, you're not going to play with Gabriel Corbo. You're not going to play with Fernando Alvarez. And that's completely normal. And that's why we've seen Sosa and Campbell in the past. But you know what? Right now, I don't think that's what we need. Right now, we need to make sure that our defense is tight. And this is what happened yesterday. So very, very interesting. Moving on with the midfielders and the wingbacks. So the two wingbacks of Juan and Joaquin Sosa, and in the middle, Mathieu Choinière and Samuel Piette. What did you think of that?
I thought it was a little bit more of a complicated night for Samuel Piette. Obviously, when you have a guy like Hany Mukhtar on the field, it's going to be a complicated night for you no matter what. I felt, though, like he was kind of just a step off the Nashville midfielders a few times. And maybe it's just the fact that he's kind of been playing so consistently match in and match out. I know he didn't start Wednesday, but all the same, he started all the MLS matches. And, that's undoubtedly tricky to navigate. Mathieu Choinière, he's kind of been like moved back and forth across CanChamp and across MLS. Like when I think of his performance, I don't think he stood out a lot. Like I felt like he blended in a little bit more than usual. However, I'm not saying like that's necessarily a bad thing, because at the end of the day, when you want everything to fall on Mathieu Choinière's shoulders, it means like the team is not necessarily playing as well. There were a few times where I appreciated his bravado in taking a shot when kind of the ball was just being passed around the top of the 18. But then towards the end of the match, for example, he took a shot from the top of the box, and I want to say it was like the last shot of the game, or like maybe just kind of approaching injury time. And I was kind of like, was that the best decision he could have made? I'm not sure. Because I felt like there were a couple of times in the attacking phase of play when he could have made a decision to pass instead of shoot, which is rare for this Montreal team, I will say.
Interesting. I have a different opinion on both of these players. I thought that Samuel Piette was okay. He did what Samuel Piette does. Of course, he could be a bit more. He can play a bit more passes forward, and he used to do that. He did great. He did that very well against Miami. But I still feel that we got what we can get from someone like Samuel Piette. But at the same time, I think that was the worst performance that I've seen from Mathieu Choinière yesterday. He wasn't good at all yesterday. He was really not good. He was nowhere to be seen, not available. I didn't see the Mathieu Choinière that I love. That gives an option to everyone. That's a lot of times we saw Mathieu Choinière. Really, his positioning was very bad. Was off charts. He wasn't really available. I think that's the word. He wasn't available for his teammates. He should have given more options to the person, the player that had the ball, and he didn't do that. And again, and I agree with you. His decision making was lacking also yesterday. Not only with the shots and in the final third, but also defensively, he was nowhere to be seen. I really didn't like what I saw from him. Andy says a completely different player when he's at wingback, in my opinion. I agree with you. I still don't think that that's his best position.
No.
And I was talking about this yesterday with Eric Chenmois from Biopark. And for me, I feel that the role that Laurent Courtois is asking of Mathieu Choinière is not really suited for him. To be that defensive wall between be that defensive wall to help out the central defenders. That's exactly what Laurent Courtois is asking. Whereas if you look at Mathieu Choinière with Hernan Losada, he was more as a box-to-box roaming player that can really, a bit like we say électron libre in French. Like he didn't have any requirements. He didn't have any responsibilities, like defensive duties that were really that important. With Laurent Courtois, it's he needs to be that glue between the defense and the midfield. And for me, that's not the role that I want to see Mathieu Choinière in, unfortunately. And yesterday it showed. It showed, really. And he was frustrated quite a few times. We saw him yell at his teammates, and not be happy. So I don't know. and then Andy says, I think his value has gone down heavily this season, hence the trade request. IMO, but I digress. I know that's a heavy topic. I disagree with that. I don't think his value,
it heavily feels intense, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Of course, when the team is not working well, for sure your value is going to diminish. That's completely understandable. But what's asked of Mathieu Choinière, he's doing. Unfortunately, what's asked for him, I don't think it's suited for him. That's my personal opinion. And for the two wingbacks, you know what? I love Juan. Okay, I really love what he brings. And I feel that he does a lot of good things. But the final ball, man.
We're so close. We're so close. It hurts.
It's just disgusting. He dribbles like three players. He's in the penalty box.
Yeah.
He just needs to give a really, really easy back pass.
It's so close, like it hurts because you've done what seems to us watching like the hard part, right? And then like God forbid the ball gets intercepted. He's bombing back down that right-hand side and he's gonna catch up with the player, making the run. And so it feels like he's done everything he needs to do, but that final ball also, what is located at the third post on this pitch? I need to know because the players are all seeing something I don't see. Like there's this empty space and I'm just like, what is happening there? Because that's where they want to cross to so badly.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
It boggles my sweet little mind.
But the thing that they did well is to try as much as possible to have the crosses really on the floor and not in the air, because you have Walker Zimmerman on the other side. So you're never going to win a header. Exactly, you're never going to win a header with him, right?
Yeah.
So I like that. Unfortunately, lack of precision, really lack of precision. And at the same time, and I like what Nicholas said, Nicholas Radeski, saying, I like what Sosa brings to the team. And you know what? I completely agree with him. Honestly, I really love that player. Go ahead.
I prefer him not as a center back just because he usurped Gabriela Corbo's position. And I am completely married to the notion of Gabriela Corbo being in this 3-back.
At the left, on the left? I prefer him on the right.
I think I do prefer him on the right. Like, I think what we saw last night is my preferred center back trio.
Really? Like I would prefer Sosa instead of Alvarez.
Interesting. Okay, we'll agree to disagree. As
hey, I'm having a lot of that. Andy's saying that too. Agree to disagree.
Just unpopular tonight, Hady.
I'm not really popular. You're right. I've never been popular, right? I'm a unicorn. So yeah, no. Okay. But anyway, but what did you think about him as a wingback, Sosa?
I kind of felt like it was a little bit more of a safe option again for Laurent Courtois, because again, Montreal has just been so poor defensively. Ariel Lester, it was not working with him being reverted to left back. Like it was so blindingly obvious something had to be done. Either you don't play with left wing back and you just leave that quarter open, or you put someone else in. And I can understand why you choose Joaquin Sosa in that regard, because he's made for that position. I do think he'd be better in a 4-back as a left back rather than a left wing back, with like the amount of kind of back and forth that's required of him. However, I do think he did a very serviceable job last night, truly.
Yeah, no, I agree that it was a more defensive move for Laurent Courtois. Now, he didn't really have a choice because Larry Lassiter, as you said, he's not an option at that position. But he did defend him in the presser, Laurent Courtois, saying we asked too much of Ari Lassiter.
He's been played so much. Yeah. When has he been rested?
Never. Like very rarely.
Yeah.
When Edwards was here for maybe a couple of games, like even then he was playing up front. So
exactly.
And that consistency to play in the same position, he hasn't had that yet this season. So that's something that takes a toll on you, I think, in my opinion. Now we do have Wellington saying hi. So hey, Wellington, thanks for being here with us. And I'll just share his comment because we already talked about Samuel Piet saying that he deserves a congratulations on consistency in his game. As team captain, he leads by example on the pitch, and you know what? I completely agree with that. But I digress. Sosa, I like him in that position. I think from time to time, I think we need that defensive approach.
Sure. I just feel like Nashville is not like such an offensive powerhouse this season.
I agree.
Like that, it feels like in the circumstances of Montreal's terrible form lately, I do understand it. But like you would think about this against like FC Cincinnati or someone, somebody a true offensive powerhouse.
Yeah, but at the same time, Eve, we created quite a few chances offensively. Like we had our chances yesterday.
Montreal did have its, absolutely.
Exactly. So if you're able to have that defensive foundation and still build on that and get offensive chances and create chances, which they did, why not? You don't really need to always have those options on both wings. You can have one wing where you see one and the other wing a bit more defensive, and that was okay, Yeah. But I agree with you that sometimes we need to go, full throttle, and we need to go ahead and go and score. But
and especially at home, right?
I agree. But I like that for now, for the situation that CF Montreal
I think
is in
for the
right now.
stabilizing effect it's going to have, 100%.
No, I agree. Now let's talk about the top three, like the three forwards. I would say the three at the top, but I said top three. The three at the top. So we had Ariel Lassiter, we had Bryce Duke, and we had Jules Anthony Vilsan. Yves, I'll let you start.
I mean, for the physicality of this match, Bryce Duke was basically played out of it because he is just not there for the physicality, period.
That's exactly what Patrick said. I'm going to give you the first comment.
Oh, okay.
Or one of the first comments that he said. He said, if you play physical on Duke, he disappears.
Yes, Patrick, 100%. Thank you for taking the words out of my mouth. He got bodied a few times in this match, and he just kind of faded away. I don't know what else to say, honestly, beyond that. There were a few moments. I liked his willingness to take a first-time shot, without kind of setting the ball. I appreciated that. But when it came to the buildup of the play, when a Nashville player was willing to kind of jostle him or go shoulder to shoulder, it was a lost battle on his end at the end of the day. Ariel Lassiter, did you have to go ahead?
Oh yeah, just to talk about Duke, I'll just say my piece. It's not only like when we say physicality, a lot of people think about the way he handled himself when he's in a duel, like when someone is trying to really be aggressive with him. But that's not only that. For me, in my opinion, he lacks pace, man. It's just not normal, that he almost had a one-on-one with the keeper.
Oh, when he had the counter from Waterman?
He was so slow. That the defender caught up with him. Now, he did stop at one point, but honestly, it's not normal at this level. Like, I'm faster than him. And you know what? I'm 41. I have a beer belly. I'm faster than him. I'm pretty sure I'm faster than him. He's slow. He's so. What do you mean?
Okay, and what's funny is I remember having that thought about Yankov when I watched the match, and I was like, Yankov, my guy, pick it up.
Yeah, but you know what? But Yankov brings something else.
No, we'll get to that.
Exactly, and we'll get to that a bit later. So for me, Duke, honestly, if you're playing with possession ball, I think he's really good because technically he's above average, way above average.
Yeah.
Technically. But the rest, things needs to follow. So I don't know. let's wait and see. But I really don't like what I'm seeing from him. I'll let you continue on Ari Lassiter because I'll say my piece right after.
I mean, he was definitely in a better position for him last night than he had been for the last few matches. That being said, it definitely wasn't my favorite match of his, for sure. I mean, I felt like he was absent for large parts of it. Like, I feel like when he's put up top, he kind of just is like, oh, I don't have to do anything defensively. I'm just going to like chill kind of somewhere on the pitch. So there were times where Nashville was threatening. Like, I kind of think, say, between like the 70th and 80th-ish minute of the match, where I feel like maybe some help could have been given, but unfortunately it was not. That comes to mind. However, I don't know. It's like I'm looking for a word to describe it. I'm just kind of like meh on his performance last night. He didn't stand out in a good way or a bad way, but at the end of the day, like, this is competitive soccer. So if you don't stand out, then you've probably realistically had a bad night, unless you're playing him in a position like Samuel Piet, where you don't want to stand out. I don't know. Nice. I don't know what to say about it.
You're too nice. Okay. Ari Lassiter was shit yesterday.
Oh, okay. That's right.
He was. Honestly, he was nowhere to be seen. His control was really not here. He had one great chance. Now, it was a bit high, right in front of the goal.
The one that he put over the net in the second half.
Exactly. Okay, yeah. He missed it. He didn't bring anything to the table at all. It's like we were playing 10 against 11. Mm-hmm. I still feel that he's a good player to have in the squad.
With his versatility.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not only versatility, he does have a few flashes of a good player. We saw him against Miami. We saw him a bit earlier. Also, he scored a couple of goals already. Yeah. I think he can be a nice asset to have, but that's not a starter. Same thing as Duke. Those two players are not starters. They're good to have in the squad as rotation players, but not as starters. And you know what? I'll jump on Vilsaint. Yeah, I'll jump on Vilsaint first.
Yeah.
Same thing for Vilsaint. I love the guy. He's very young. I think he can do some very nice things.
Yeah.
He's just not a starter yet. He's going to be a starter. He's going to be a starter at one point.
Yeah.
I think he has a lot of potential. He does have a lot of potential, Jonathan Vilsaint, right? He's not there yet, right? Let's give him a bit of time. And I'll come back to the first, and that's the first comment of Patrick, saying it shows when our top three attackers are out, we miss clear chances and wide open nets. And you know 100%. What? It showed. That's exactly what we saw yesterday. Our top three strikers are not here, and it shows. And we do have a comment from I think it was Wellington said Vilsaint was selfish yesterday. He cannot play full 90 minutes. Honestly, if I'm a coach, and if I'm a coach, I want my striker to be selfish.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I want him to know when to be selfish and when not to be selfish. Mm-hmm. At one point, we saw that great chance where Vilsaint had Mathieu Chouanière on the left completely alone, and he decided to go for a shot.
Yeah.
I feel that was the wrong decision. But at the same time, a bit later, I think in the second half, we saw Vilsaint taking a shot, and I think that was the right decision. He needs to take a shot. That's normal.
That's his job.
Exactly. You need to identify when to take your shot and when not to take your shot. And it's okay to be a bit selfish from time to time. That's the role of a striker, but not all the time. And that's what we lacked yesterday. I disagree with the fact of Wellington saying Lassiter, Duke, and Vilsaint are CPL players.
That feels excessive.
That's a bit too much.
Yeah.
They're not starters in MLS. They should be rotational players. As simple as that, all three of them. They can do a good job from time to time, but they're not starters, 100%. If your take on Vilsaint?
I mean, I feel like you said most of it, but I'll just say, like, I feel like he gets in the right spaces. Like, you can see he's so close to just clicking and kind of leveling up to being an MLS like starter, if you will. And you know that theoretically that should come just with a little bit more time, with a few veterans around him who are used to playing the game, who can kind of mentor him and kind of like, you know, lift him up on their shoulders a little bit. Unfortunately, obviously, there are no other fit strikers right now. So it's a challenge. I think he's doing the best he can. And it's really similar. Honestly, it's really similar to our situation last year.
Yeah.
That's how I see it. It's almost like a carbon copy right now. You know, Montreal, how many sitters did Montreal miss last year?
Yeah, a lot.
So, yeah, exactly.
I don't have the count.
I don't want to start a count. So I feel like with him, it will come with time. He just needs some mentorship. He just needs some guidance. He needs to enter a match rather than start it. But I think patience is a virtue when it comes to Jules-Anthony Vitsin. I'm absolutely not going to write him off after last night, not one iota.
Yeah, I completely agree. And Patrick saying there are good bench players, options
totally.
off the bench. Yes, and also from time to time get a start. Yes, no problem at all. Andy's saying the TV commentator said Vincent gets tunnel vision with the ball in his feet, and you saw his teammates clearly get angry at him twice. And we saw that. Yeah, we saw he has tunnel vision. But again, that comes with experience.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be too harsh on the guy.
Not so early in his career.
Exactly.
If it doesn't improve, it's a different story.
And same for Duke. I think Duke, we are a bit too harsh on him, even if he's been bad lately. But I think with time, maybe, and I said maybe, and I underline maybe he can be a good player. Let's wait and see. And let's talk about the substitutes. Mm-hmm. We do have quite a few substitutes. We had Yankov, Sunusi Ibrahim, Rida Zuhir, and George Campbell.
George Campbell was like more of a cameo, I would say. Yeah, so like exactly. I don't have a lot to say about his performance for sure.
Me neither. Did I miss a change or no?
No.
It was only 4?
No, that was it. Okay. Yeah. Okay. For me, Sunusi, like he got into some really good spaces. He did have a really good scoring opportunity towards kind of the death of the match. Unfortunately, he missed the target. But once again,
he created it. Created it.
That's a good point. Yeah, he did. But once, like, again, I think we're kind of like living our young striker kind of with nobody to guide them struggle when it comes to Sunusi a little bit as well, right? Because even though he has been with Montreal for as long as he has, he is still so young and so early in his professional career. But overall, I thought it was a good sub performance from Sunusi for him. Like, I think of all the subs, his was the best performance, if you will. You know, I think honestly, like for me, it really just depends on what defense Montreal is facing, and you kind of toss up him or Jules-Anthony Vitsin and just pick whichever one you would rather have start right now.
I agree. I feel that it's like the toss has never really fallen to Sunusi.
Like,
and it's always been Vilsa, and you know, Vilsa had a good couple of games. I completely agree, but I feel that every time we've seen Sunusi come in, he's been good. And I think he deserves a start. And honestly, I would have loved to see at the beginning of the game, before I watched the game, for me, I wanted to see Sunusi, Vilsa, and Lassiter front.
Okay. That'd be interesting. Yeah.
That's what I wanted to see. And even when we saw that Yankov, and we'll talk about Yankov a bit later, when we saw that Yankov and Sunusi were coming in, we saw them because we're right next to the bench. I was thinking, okay, he's gonna remove Lassiter and Duke, and that's not what happened. And honestly, I feel that Sunusi deserves something because yes, he missed the shot, but he created it. With his back to his goal, he improved so much. He's winning so many balls.
And honestly,
he's running everywhere.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, he's running everywhere, and I think he's performing well. So at one point, we need to trust him a bit more.
Yeah, and you know what? That's a good point because I feel like in his first 1 to 2 seasons with Montreal, every time another player came into contact with him, he went to the ground. Like, it was almost laughable, truly. And again, I understand he was young. He probably had not adjusted to this league because MLS is so intensely physical. But this year, like, he really is standing up for himself. He is able to kind of handle that physicality a lot better.
Exactly.
So, yeah. So
I would have liked to
we're
see
seeing steps. Yeah.
I would have liked to see a battle between Sunusi and Zimmerman.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm still going to give it to Walker Zimmerman, though.
Yeah, but at least he would have been a challenge to Zimmerman.
Okay.
Nobody was a challenge to Zimmerman yesterday.
Agree.
And that's what bothers me. At one point, where's the physical challenge that you're creating? Why are you not occupying Walker Zimmerman? Like, you need to make sure that he's at least bothered by something.
Yeah.
He wasn't yesterday.
Yeah. Fair.
So that's one thing. What did you think about Yankov? There's a lot of comments on him. So if you want to, but if you want a bit of time to think.
Yeah, do you want to start? Because I kind of have to like gather my thoughts.
No worries.
They aren't super positive.
No worries. So we have Andy's. I'm crossing my fingers for the moment when Yankov gets comfortable in the MLS. Whenever I watch him, it seems like the game is going around him, then through him. We'd hope he would be an upgrade to Duke, but he's just not there yet. We do have a few comments. I do have another comment on Yankov.
All right.
I think that's it.
Well, I'm ready.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, I mean, he picked up like quite a silly yellow card, which is unfortunate because overall the ref was like very permissive from a physical standpoint in this match. Like, I felt like the ref was like, okay, these players are going to be like a really physical bunch, and I'm going to kind of let a lot slide that maybe other refs wouldn't. And I will say I appreciated that. Just in passing, in case Emil is listening to us. That being said, though, he picked up a really silly yellow card, which is just unnecessary. It was, I think, for dissent, if I'm not mistaken, which, I mean, can be avoided. Let's face it, at the end of the day.
Yeah, I agree.
That being said, he's coming off the bench, and if he's getting caught up to by a tired central defender at the end of the match, for me, like, come on, my guy. So I felt like his pace was lacking significantly. Some of those balls where he just had the vision and he saw something that we didn't see until it was happening. We didn't see any of those magical passes. He didn't necessarily beat anybody in a one-on-one. It was profoundly lackluster, to put it kindly.
Yeah, I agree with that on that performance, but I disagree with Andy's comments. I feel that Yankov is just right now, as you said, trying to adapt to the MLS, but not only that, he hasn't been yet healthy and he hasn't found his fitness yet.
No.
And I hope that he does. I hope he's not going to be another Lassie. That's the only thing that I hope will not happen. But at first, when Martinez was healthy, we saw quite a few nice flashes from Yankov with Martinez. He was very complimentary to Joseph Martinez, and I love that. So he has something. I feel that right now there's so many changes up top. There's so many changes, and he's still not fit. That unfortunately, yes, he seems a bit lost, and we saw it yesterday. Completely agree with that assessment. But I still feel that he has a bit in the tank. Is he enough to be that number 10 for the team? I don't think so yet. But
I think he needs some consistent minutes. He needs to retain that fitness and find himself like a good stride.
Exactly. Completely agree with that. And the rest, Rita Zuhir. I want to hear you on that.
Rita Zuhir, I felt like it was a solid performance from him. It wasn't necessarily like outstanding, but also he didn't commit any grievous mistakes. He was definitely willing to engage in a duel. He was not afraid of taking on those Nashville players like one-on-one or kind of getting in their way, which you love to see, especially for a player who hasn't had a ton of minutes. So I think overall a good entrance for him. Do I think he's going to like dislodge Mathieu Choinière and Saint-Pierre tomorrow? No. However, I think he made the most of the minutes that he got when he came in.
Yeah, I agree. That's exactly what I wanted to say. I love the fact that he's getting minutes first.
Yes. And not just like those 90 plus minutes. Yeah.
He deserves minutes. He really deserves minutes because he's proven that he is at this level right now.
Yeah.
He needs minutes in MLS to improve and to become a starter. He's not a starter yet, far from being a starter yet. I think he needs a couple of years, but he can have consistent minutes, maybe 10 minutes here, 15 minutes there, 20 minutes here. I think he needs that to continue his progression and to continue his evolution to become that finished product. And I think he can be that finished product in a couple of years.
Agree.
Perfect. So we do have a few other comments, but we already talked about all of them. I still have confidence in Yankov, says Wellington. He has something to show for. I think he will deliver. Andy, again, on Yankov, I agree his potential is huge. But given that he played in Europe already, I expected him to be at a higher level already. I agree, but we don't know what his level is because he hasn't been fit yet. So I don't know. Let's wait and see what's going to happen. We do have a few questions, but before that, let's talk about our second subject.
Okay.
That Canadian Championship elimination.
Oh, you know what, Hady? I'm feeling sick again. I can't continue.
Let's talk about that. But first, before we say that, we want to show you something from Rico Production on this game. And I want to hear your thoughts, Eve, about that right after. So it won't be too long. I'm just going to find the video.
And here we go for the 100th time. Hand grenade pins in every line. Throw them up and let something shine. Going out of my fucking mind. Filthy mouth, no excuse. Find a new place to hang this noose. String me up from atop these roofs. Knot it tight so I won't get loose. Truth is you can stop and stare. Run myself out and no one cares. Dug a trench out, lay down there with a shovel up out of reach somewhere. Yeah, someone pour it in. Make it a dirt dance floor again. Say your prayers and stop it out when they bring that chorus in. I bleed it out, digging deeper just to throw it away. I bleed it out, digging deeper just to throw it away. I bleed it out, digging deeper just to throw it away. Just to throw it away. Just to throw it away. I bleed it out. Go, stop the show. Choppy words in a sloppy flow. Shotgun opera, lock and load. Cock it back and then watch it go. Mama help me, I've been cursed. Death is rolling in every verse. Candy paint on his brand new hearse. Can't contain him, he knows he works. Fuck, this hurts, I won't lie. Doesn't matter how hard I try. Half the words don't mean a thing, and I know that I won't be satisfied. So why try ignoring him? Make it a dirt dance floor again. Say your prayers and stop it out when they bring that chorus in. I bleed it out, digging deeper just to throw it away. I bleed it out, digging deeper just to throw it away. I bleed it out, digging deeper just to throw it away. Just to throw it away. Just to throw it away. I bleed it out. I've opened up these skies. I'll make you face us. I pull myself so far. I'll make you face us. No! I bleed it out, digging deeper just to throw it away. I bleed it out, digging deeper just to throw it away. I bleed it out, digging deeper just to throw it away. Just to throw it away. Just to throw it away. I bleed it out, digging deeper just to throw it away. I bleed it out, digging deeper just to throw it away. I bleed it out, digging deeper just to throw it away. Just to throw it away. Just to throw it away. I bleed it out. I bleed it out. I bleed it out.
So thanks again for Rico Production. I really like what he did. So from time to time, you're gonna see a few clips from him on this pod. So give him a follow on Instagram, on Twitter. He does have a very new account that he just opened right now. So yeah, just follow him. Great job from him.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that for me that stays in my mind when I watch that video is the end.
With the head down.
How devastated the players were. And I want to read what Andy said.
Mm-hmm.
I was there. It was ugly. It was very, very ugly. I thought it was ugly after the Toronto loss, but that first half was ugly in caps. Let's just say the staff were hiding from the fans. Honestly,
500 because the ticket wasn't included this year.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm gonna say something. As you all know, I'm a fan of Marseille, and Marseille already lost quite a few games in the past 10, 15 years in the French Cup against 4th division clubs and 5th division clubs. And those losses are so humiliating that it hurts. Mm-hmm. It hurts so much. And seeing that first half and the way it was, we weren't a CPL player. We weren't a League One Quebec. We weren't a CPL club. We weren't a League One Quebec club. We were
a beer league club.
Not even a beer league club. We were just a bunch of friends that are playing for the first time together and just in a park and trying to have fun. It wasn't even fun. It was so disgusting. And the worst of it is that in the second half, they did try quite a lot to come back in the game. I think the coaching staff did their job during the interruption and during that halftime, because we saw them really hurt and trying to get back at this, but unfortunately, it wasn't enough.
No. I mean, full credit to Forge, just to be clear.
For sure.
Bobby Spurniodis, he had a plan. His players were clearly fired up. I think they smelled the blood in the water. And let's face it, those 2 goals came from very, very similar situations. And it was an obvious weakness. I think it was improved upon between Wednesday and Saturday for Montreal. However, it came too late. So I do just want to say that, because everyone is like, oh my God, we lost to a CPL club. Oh my God. But at the end of the day, it was an incredibly well-prepared, very informed, very up for the game CPL club. And I think they do deserve credit for the win that they got. We are a Montreal podcast. Therefore, we are going to talk about this through the lens of that.
Yeah.
It was, I wanted to say, unfortunately, I was so sick last week. I could not. And it was not the Toronto loss that made me sick, to be clear. It was something else beforehand. I was like, oh my God, the Toronto loss may be Montreal's worst in quite a long time. And then worst, I don't know, worst loss or worst performance. But then that performance Wednesday, I was like, oh my God, this is Montreal's worst performance in quite a long time, even though the scoreline wasn't, massive. Oh my God, Hady. I don't know what to say. It was so lackluster. It was so casual. It was so disorganized. All of the words that you don't want to associate with a team. You could use all of them. There was no urgency whatsoever, even at down 2-0 before the half. Like you said, after that, the half and the rain delay, things did improve. But that whole first 45 minutes, it was just things are happening. We're just going to spectate them. I don't know what to say about it.
I liked also the words of the coach at the end in the presser saying, I am ashamed.
Yeah.
He said it just like that. I am ashamed. And I feel that pressure right now is a bit on Laurent Courtois, even if we all know about all the circumstances that made that
contributed, I would say.
Exactly.
Not made.
Contributed.
Yeah.
A bit of both. Made it in a way because, things were going fine at the beginning of the season until something broke. And that's something, the players were aware of that something, and everything was made aware. And then the Mathieu Choinière situation, and then the Olivier Renard situation, and then everything that happened after with Olivier Renard presser, that was really, really bad. And I think that didn't help at all. But at the same time, you guys are professional players. Yeah. You're a professional coach. At one point, you lose 2-3 games. Okay. But you're playing against a CPL team, for God's sake. Playing against a CPL team. What are you doing? And again, what is Elias Hady doing with that team? I still don't understand. I don't get it. I really don't. Nothing. It's not personal towards the player, but he's not even CPL level. He shouldn't even play in the CPL. He was in the CPL and he did very good with Atletico Ottawa, but he's not at that level, man. It's not normal when you're not able to cross it, to cross the ball. I don't know. Honestly, this was bad.
Yeah.
Okay, good effort right after, but still, you still lose against CPL
it's too
team.
Late.
It's too late. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's too late. But from what I heard is that Gabriel Gervais went into the locker room afterwards.
Oh my God, not a famous locker room. No.
There was quite a few discussions with him, trying to maybe let them know that this is unacceptable. Maybe that, and at the same time, we saw Laurent Courtois, and I heard that Laurent Courtois stood behind his president, which is really good. So there wasn't a feud between them, which is really good, I think. And at the same time, to show unity at this time, I think is very important. And that's why we saw a sense of unity against Nashville. Yes, we didn't win, but the effort was there. The team looked like a team, which they didn't look like a team for maybe 3 weeks or 4 weeks. So let's talk about the elimination of CF Montreal of the Canadian Championship. That was one of the main objectives of Gabriel Gervais when I talked to him at the beginning of the season. That was one of the main objectives. How bad is this for CF Montreal? How bad is this for the image of CF Montreal losing to CPL team, even if it's Forge, the best team in CPL? And what are the consequences, in your opinion?
Well, they're not the first, at least, to be eliminated by a CPL team. I think if they had been the first, the sky would be falling more than it is, But they're not the first. So at least thank you, Vancouver, for taking that one for the MLS teams, if you will. It's pretty devastating. It comes at a time when kind of Montreal was already beaten down a bit with all their MLS losses accumulating. And so it's just kind of like another rock on the pile of just unfortunate circumstances piling up and piling up and piling up on this team. It was so bad. For me, I was convinced just by the sheer manner of the loss. I was checking my phone on I was sent home sick by my boss on Thursday, and so I had nothing to do. I was checking my phone every 5-10 minutes, checking to see if Laurent Courtois still had a job because the manner was just that bad.
Wow.
Really? Wow. I mean, it wouldn't have shocked me. Just
no, I would have been surprised. I think if you had fired Laurent Courtois at that time, that would be utter chaos. Because after everything that happened,
it would be wild. Don't get me wrong.
Think this would have been the worst decision that Gabriel Gervais had taken.
Yeah, but
because he would have proved what Olivier Renard was trying to say of him. So
yeah, and he would have proven to be no less impulsive than
exactly.
Joe Saputo. Yeah,
exactly.
No, I agree with you. I think for me, it was the manner of the loss. Like, it's one thing to, like, you know, have contentious or controversial calls or whatever that lead to a result or something like that, but your team is really fighting for it. You know, goalkeeper like lays on the line, you know, to stop your team from scoring and so on and so forth. But it was the manner of this loss for me that was like all the more devastating. That being said, for back to your question, for the image, I don't know. I don't know if it's that terrible for the overall image, because it's just in such a slew of crap right now for this team that I really don't know if it's actually going to, like, as far as, say, outside of Montreal fan circles and like the inner soccer circles, I don't think it's actually going to hit that hard. I really don't, truly.
Okay, interesting. Honestly, I think it's pretty bad, but at the same time, I think it can bring something, and I think we saw it, and I think Andy said it a bit earlier, saying, but I strongly believe something happened in that extended halftime because they came back differently. Maybe a players only meeting, I don't know. And I agree with him. I feel that loss can be, in a way, the silver lining for this team. So, you know, we saw a better performance yesterday. I can't wait to see the game on Wednesday. And for me, right now, Wednesday is one of the most important games in the season.
Well,
you need to win.
Yeah.
There's no escape. If they don't win, the season is scrapped. That's my opinion.
You're calling it?
I'm calling it. They need to win on Wednesday. It's as simple as that. And Tate said the sun will still come up. Yes.
Even if
Patrick says 20 games left to go. We have 3 wins. Figure we need to win 10 of the last 20. Concentrate on making the playoffs. Let's forget about the playoffs right now and look at the situation. Let's look at the standings right now. Before even thinking about playoffs, you need to get closer to the teams that are fighting for a playoff spot. Right now, we have 13 points. The 9th position has 18, and that's DC United. You win against them, you're 2 points from them. And that's already the step that you need. Again, you look at the standings again, and you remember, I know that it's been tough for CF Montreal, but we still, out of the 14 games that we played, we only played 5 at home for a record of 1 win, 2 draws, and 2 losses.
Mm-hmm.
The 2 losses were against Miami. I'm talking about MLS, right?
Yeah.
The 2 losses were against Miami and Columbus, which are one of the 2 best teams in the MLS. So right now, if we're able to get points at home, there's still a chance. But it comes, we need that win in DC.
Yeah.
Against DC. No other choice. No other choice.
It's a lot of weight to put on a squad with a real striker.
No, because honestly, that's the only way that everybody's going to believe, because everybody's looking at that, you know, from purely from a mathematical view. And I agree that mathematically it's possible, even if they lose against DC and everything. But I think that mentally, and the mental aspect is often really overshadowed or forgotten. And I feel that mentally they need that win in order to get that second breather, to get that second push. They need that. And I don't think it's going to come. I don't think it's going to come in Philadelphia. So, because the next game is in Philadelphia.
Yeah,
so
it is.
Let's wait and see. Let's wait and see that. Let's answer the questions that we received.
Okay, just one sec.
Right before.
In any order? Oh, okay, you got it.
Well, I'll start with Majid. already given up on Yankov. I did. I gave up after 2 games for Rea, 3 for Juke, and I've seen enough of Yankov to know he's no MLS caliber, no number 10. This is so frustrating. We talked about that. I don't think we need to talk about that either. Again, we don't agree with you, Majid. So agree to disagree. We still think that we need to see a bit more consistency to be able to judge. So let's wait and see. We do have a question from Simpap from La Troisième Demi, a podcast on CF Montreal. Do you think the return of players from injury will instill a sense of confidence in the team? What do you think?
I don't know necessarily about confidence, because at the end of the day, like as a collective, I think the team is pretty beaten down, but I think it will instill a sense of hope. Like they're going to have somebody who they can rely on, because the injuries I think that we're primarily thinking of are those at the top of the pitch. Of course, we also have like guys like Raheem Edwards, who them coming in can also make a big difference for this team. Although perhaps not as obviously as a Kokoro or a Martinez. I think it will give them kind of like the second win that you were talking about a little while ago, Hady. I know you did it and mentioned, of the win versus hopeful potential win versus DC. But for me, like having those players back, it's like a huge weight off the shoulders of everyone else who has been kind of trying to hold up this team while they've been absent.
Completely agree. Completely agree. But I feel that, first of all, it brings quality back on the pitch. If it's not confidence, if it's not a weight off of your shoulders, it's at least talent, which is already a big thing. So let's wait and see. But I still feel that team, guys, I don't know one team in the MLS altogether that can still be good without the top 3 strikers. Not one team, even Columbus. Like, no, just if Cucho, Ramirez, and I don't know who's the third one is injured. The Canadian,
Jason
Russell Rowe are injured. All 3 of them are injured. Of course, they're not going to be as good as they are right now. That's normal.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see. Next question is from Simple Guy. Does Olivier Renard gets replaced before the end of the year? I say no, which means no new players in summer window. Eve.
I agree. I think it's going to be a long search process to find his replacement. Period.
Yeah, I agree. 100%. I don't think it's going to be this year. It's going to be at the end of the year. So let's wait and see. And honestly, there will not be any summer transfers, in my opinion, either. So
I would say of note.
Yeah, of note. Yeah. And we have a good question from our friend Stephen Buckridge from the Cincinnati You Ain't Lying Cincinnati podcast that always listens to us. He asks us 3 changes you recommend CF Montreal make for any chance at a playoff run. I'm going to give you 2 answers that our listeners have given. First of all, William Bedard saying stay healthy. 2, don't fire the coach. And Majid saying change of owners, new stadium, trade Bryce Duke. If you had to answer Steven's question, so 3 changes you recommend for CF Montreal to make a run, what would you do? Of course, that's not like real changes that you have control over.
Yeah.
Don't tell me we pray to God or whatever.
No. I won't show you the little altar I built in my closet. Okay. No, I'm kidding. My closet is full of clothing. Number one, I wholeheartedly agree with William's answers. I would definitely agree with them any day of the week. I think consistency is super important. Don't fire the coach, please, for the love of God. Montreal has had too many revolving doors, and I am still Team Courtois at this stage of the game. So I am going to snipe that option from William's answer. The other option, the other change that I would recommend for Montreal, I think would be to work on that final ball, work on the crossing. For the love of God, improve your crosses. Give your strikers, whoever they are, however old they are, however experienced they are, give them something better to feed off of, because you aren't going to win a game if you don't score a goal, and you aren't going to make the playoffs if you don't win a game. So that would be my second chant, is just to improve the crossing, for the love of all that is good and holy.
And the third?
Oh, sorry. I thought it was 2 changes. Not 3.
No, just 3.
My apologies.
No
Okay,
worries.
my third would be to. Okay, I don't have a third off the top of my head.
It's okay.
Okay, do you have one that you want to add on?
Yeah. I would
go for it.
The first thing that I would do is have a more conservative central defense. So I would love to have, a conservative central defense. So I want to see Corbo, Waterman, Sosa. That's what I want to see as central defense. That's the first thing. And second of all, I want Mathieu Choinière to play more freely. Okay. I want him to play. I don't want him to play next to Samuel anymore. And if we keep that same formation,
right,
I want him to play with the top 3, with the forward, because I feel that's what we're gonna get more of Mathieu Choinière. And I would love to see Mathieu Choinière with Mathias Kokoro and Joseph Martinez. I think that would be great. The problem is, who are you going to put next to Saint-Pierre?
Yeah.
I'm not really sure. I hope that Nathan Saliba comes back from injury. I think he could be good. Maybe Wanyama, if he has a bit of I don't know, a bit of physical abilities to still give, because I feel that against Forge he was really not good. So I don't know. That's what I need. I think Mathieu Choinière playing in a role where he's a bit more free. And third, I feel that we need something to change. I feel that we need Gabriel Gervais to come and talk to us.
Okay.
I feel that.
Well, what do you think he'd say?
He needs to reassure us.
Fair.
I don't know how, but he needs to reassure us. He needs to say, you know what, guys, everything's under control. This is what we're gonna do. Have a meeting with maybe the supporters groups. I'm not really sure what needs to be done, but something needs to be done. And we saw a great support from the two main supporter groups, from the Collectif and from the 1642. And I have a feeling that something happened also behind the scenes, that maybe Gabriel Gervais reached out, or maybe Laurent Courtois reached out, because they were all together. But I think we need that togetherness in the club and with the fans. And we need a clear strategy. We need to know where we're going, because right now we're a bit lost. So something needs to be said or done so we know in which direction we're going. That's the 3 things that I need, that I think that we need to do in order to get a chance at a playoff spot.
Right on.
Did you think about your third thing, or not really?
I mean, yes, I kind of feel like for me, I wanted something like that spoke of stability, something that spoke of like, I think maybe that was kind of like what you said with Gabriel Gervais. I'm not sure it has to be him, but just something to demonstrate some stability within the squad. So whether it's kind of locking it down defensively, like you said, maybe with a more conservative, or maybe it's a change in formation, but just something that kind of feels a little bit less chaotic, because right now it's feeling chaotic both on and off the pitch. And so I think we just need to feel like there's less chaos, at least in one sphere. I feel like for Montreal fans, like we've been through an awful lot. So I feel like we can live with chaos in one area or the other. Both is asking a little bit
It's
of
a
us.
bit too much. Yeah, it's a bit too
much. Exactly. So you know what? I'm willing to ask for one or the other. I don't necessarily need both, but I will ask for one or the other. That being said, I will say that like while we are still struggling to identify who is going to be a true attacking midfielder for this team, whether it's a Poku when he comes back. Bryce Duke obviously is not meeting the requirements right now. Yankovs can't stay fit. I would recommend either moving to a formation where that role is less important in feeding the strikers, or, as you suggested, giving Mathieu Choinière a more advanced role. But again, you then also mentioned the issue of we lack kind of fit players to fill in for him. So it's kind of just like moving dominoes around, but they keep falling over one way or the other. So those are my changes. However, like whenever I try to make one of those changes, something else goes wrong. So I don't know if those are helpful or not. That's the end of my story.
Feel free to give us your own changes that you would make in order to make a playoff run. We have Andy saying, would you guys bench Choinière or would that be catastrophic? I don't think it's the fact that he's the golden boy of CF Montreal. That I don't think that's why it would be catastrophic. I feel that we need a player like Mathieu Choinière. He's really, really good. But right now, he's not at the right position. I don't think that's the right position for him in that system. We do have Patrick that says, it won't happen soon, but I would love for the team to have the squad in order to play a 4-3-3. And that's exactly what I want to say. We don't have the squad to play in a 4-3-3. No. So I love the way you worded it, Patrick. The squad was built to play with the back three. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
So we can't really go play with the back four. And that's one of our questions from Daniel. Should CF Montreal switch to a back four formation? I don't think we have what it takes to play with a back four.
We've seen Joel Waterman in the back four.
It
didn't work.
It's not good. And who's going to play in the back four? Let's say you put Joel Waterman on the bench, which I don't think will ever happen. Who are you going to play? Who are your two center backs? Alvarez and Corbo.
I'm like, Corbo for sure. That's my safe bet.
And then who are your fullbacks?
I mean, it feels like you'd be reining Rouen in far too much.
Exactly.
Like, I feel like Montreal maybe could use Sosa as a more conservative left back. Like, I feel like he might be able to do a serviceable job, but I feel like it would be a disservice on the right-hand side of the pitch. And same, even if Raheem Edwards is fit, I feel like it would be a disservice as well. No, exactly. at the end of the day, like, I'm not going to make an argument for this formation with the squad that Montreal currently has.
Exactly. And you can't really, I don't think we have enough to play in the middle. So I think Andy's trying to give us his opinion. Move Choinière to wing back. Okay. Those are the three changes. So move Choinière to wing back. Stop making the center backs play freely upfield because it's not working. Sign a speedy attacking midfielder. Diego Rossi profile. We are missing that Kyoto speed. Yeah. That's a lot. But yeah,
I agree for right now. I think the center backs need to focus on being defensive. 100%.
Yes, that I agree. I don't think we're ever going to sign another attacking midfielder. If you're signing another attacking midfielder, you need to offload, I think, 3 or 4 players because they're never going to see the pitch again. You know, the Mason Toys and the even Lassiter, I don't think he will see the pitch again. Maybe Duke, whatever. So it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard. And Choinière to wing back, honestly, I still don't think it's his position. Not in that system. He was good with Nancy. Nancy's system and Courtois' system are, for me, completely different. I don't feel that Mathieu Choinière would be good in that system as a wingback. Even he can do a good job. I think he needs to be in a forward 3, but we talked about that a bit earlier. So that's it. I think for CF Montreal, I think we covered it all. let's talk about Andy saying, "Fine, I'll float Toy, Lassie, and Ariel." Okay, yeah, but you need teams to.
I was gonna
them.
say they don't just get like sent out into the city of Montreal and are like, okay, fend for yourselves.
Now we do have the summer send-off series for the Canadian women's national team. 2 games that are going to be played, both of them against Mexico, which is right
One
now.
One is in Montreal.
Which is right now one of the best teams in the CONCACAF, maybe sometimes better than the US. If not, of course, if the US is better than Canada, so better than Canada too.
Yeah.
Mexico beat the US a couple of times already in the past few years. But yes, one of the 2 games, as you said earlier, Eve, is in Montreal. That's this Saturday. If you haven't bought your tickets yet, what are you doing? You need to buy your ticket. That's very, very important. And the second game is played in Toronto. Mm-hmm. So Beth Priestman, which for me is not making the right choices, and I think I said it quite clearly quite a few times here on The Ball is Round. Mm-hmm. I have chosen her squad for the summer send-off. Don't forget that it feels that that's the last chance for some of these players to make it into the Olympic squad.
Yeah.
Okay. So here is the roster. So we have Simia Bojo, Janine Becky, Kadisha Buchanan, Gabrielle Carl, Sabrina D'Angelo, Jessie Fleming, Vanessa Gilles, Julia Grosso, Jordan Heidema, Chloe Lacasse, Clarissa Larisi, Ashley Lawrence, Adriana Leon, Michelle Prince, Lisiane Proux, Emma Regan, Jade Riviere, Jade Rose, Deanne Rose, Desiree Scott, Kaylin Sheridan, Olivia Smith, Evelyn Vian, and Shelina Sadorsky. I'm gonna keep this here because I think you're gonna need it for my question. Who do you think is fighting for a position in the starting in the 18 at the Olympics? Who do you think is a given?
Okay.
Do you need the list? Or are you good?
No, I'm good.
No? Okay, good.
I mean, I'll probably miss at least one person just because I'm human. But I think with Quinn being injured right now, I feel like that really opens the door in that holding midfielder position. We saw Desiree Scott get 15 minutes of playing time last night, which is significant given how much time she has spent injured recently. So I am wondering if she may be on the bubble, particularly as we do have more younger and inexperienced players right now. Of course, Emma Regan, unfortunately, I really don't follow the Danish football quite as much, so I don't know what she's been doing quite as well. However, that could also be really interesting for her on the bubble. I feel like if Quinn does make something remotely close to a recovery by the time the Olympic selection needs to be announced, I think they are going to take a spot from at least one of those 2 players. But they're definitely 2 who are on the bubble, I think, for me right now. As for players, maybe Clarissa Larissa as well. Her form was not as outstanding this past season in Sweden as it had been. Of course, she still does have some time ahead of her, so she may fall into form. But when you look at, especially in the post-Christine Sinclair era, when you look at a player like Evelyn Vian, who I know we are like the hype train conductors here on The Ball is Round, she picked up the golden boot in Serie A. She won 2 trophies with Roma. Like, she's coming in red hot into the squad. As well, Olivia Smith absolutely tore it up. There's lots of rumors of her moving on from Porto to possibly the WSL, which would be massive for her. I feel like Clarissa Larissa does have an uphill climb right now to make this squad, but the 2 players I did just mention are, for me, 100% locks.
Who's locked? So
yeah, and Smith. Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. No, for me, like, if you don't call up Mimi Alidou, who scored more goals than I can count and picked up a ton of silverware herself with Benfica, you have to bring Smith and Vian, like, without a shadow of a doubt. Nichelle Prince got called up, but once again, she's also working her way back from a significant injury. So I don't think you want to put this on Nichelle Prince's head, nor Deanne Rose, because, Deanne Rose was really in and out of the lineup with Leicester this season. she hasn't been super consistent. She hasn't been scoring a ton of goals. She hasn't had like those minutes that she really enjoyed previously with Reading. So I think you need your strikers who are coming in hot. You know my love of an informed striker, Hady.
Yeah, no, for sure, 100%. And for me, it would be a shocking surprise not to see Via in the 18.
Yeah,
really shocking. I still think that she needs to get a start in one of those two games, hopefully in Montreal, because to not make the same mistake again, Bev, by putting Via on the bench and not giving her even a minute in Montreal. Like, what are you doing, man?
Yeah.
What are you doing? The second thing, I feel that Simia Woodrow is a lock. Shanine Becky is a lock.
Agree.
Alicia Buchanan is a lock. Gabrielle Carl is a lock. Sabrina D'Angelo is a lock. Jessie Fleming is a lock. Vanessa Gilles is a lock. That's Julia Grosso. I'm not really sure if she's a lock right now because of the competition with Regan, with Simia Woodrow. I think that now she's taken a lot of space, a lot of space, or a lot of.
She seized what she was given, and she just absolutely took her minutes and ran with them, like no pun intended, because she was running around the pitch. But for me, I think she has definitely taken up a lot of space in Bev Priestman's mind.
Yeah. So I'm not sure about Julia Grosso. Jordan Heidema, I'm pretty sure that Bev is going to choose her, but I don't think she deserves to be here. That's my personal opinion.
She's also coming back from injury. I still don't think that we have a place for her in that squad. We're not really sure why she can be a good player for the team. Every time she's a center forward, she's not as good. She misses a lot of chances, but then she comes in as a sub and scores a very important goal. So we really don't know where to put her. Chloe Lacasse is a lock. Clarissa Ravisi, I think, will not make it. Ashley Lawrence is a lock. Adriana Leon, of course, she's a lock. Michelle Prince, she's coming back from an injury. I don't think it's going to be her. Lizanne Proulx, unfortunately, we only bring 2 goalkeepers in the Olympics, so I don't think she's going to be chosen. Emma Regan, I think it's a bit too late. I think she was injured at the wrong time in last camp, so I think it's going to be a bit too late. Jade Riviere is a lock, in my opinion. Jade Rose is a lock. Deanne Rose, no. Desiree Squat, no. Kaden Sheridan will be there. Olivia Smith will be there. Evelyn Vian will be there. Angelina Zadorsky will be there. I'm not sure how many I counted, but I think we're at the 18, so I'm just going to count them to make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Oh, okay, I'm only at 16. That's pretty good. You're on mute. You're on mute, Eve. Sorry, I was just coughing away here.
Okay,
I said you got a couple to spare. Good for you.
Exactly. So a couple to spare. It might be, let's say, Julia Grosso and maybe Jordan Heidema, because I'm pretty sure she's going to be chosen. So
yeah, that's the thing. I think Bev Priestman has her group of confidence.
Yeah,
where I feel like even if they are remotely possible to play, they're going to get called. Whether or not they're, I don't want to say whether or not they're the right choice.
Yeah. I don't know. It's going to be fun, I think. Are you going to be there? Of course you are.
Absolutely. I have my ticket. It was actually, I've had a really hard time getting my ticket. The website kept going down on me. Yeah.
What?
I did buy it at work.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So good.
So just perseverance for anyone trying to buy their ticket. After multi-refreshings and clearing my history and all that good stuff, I did manage to buy my ticket, I think.
Good. So now let's talk about the results. Are they important, the results against Mexico?
I think it's obviously a win would be preferred. 2 wins would be super preferred. Because this is your last chance to kind of hype up your team before they go to the Olympics. So that being said, I think the manner is most important. Like you want to see a competitive side. You want to see them kind of going head to head, and you want to see them, obviously you don't want to see the players taking massive risks with themselves so close to the Olympics, but you want to see the players really showing Bev Priestman what they're worth and why they should make that teeny tiny 18-player squad. So I'm going to say a win is not imperative, but a performance absolutely is.
Okay, and my last question that you're going to hate, because I know you hate it. Just for Montreal.
Yes.
What would be your starting 11?
Okay, my starting 11. So I'm gonna lean really hard into my Quebec.
Of course,
team.
You're in Quebec, man.
Absolutely. Normal. But like all this, I'm going to try to balance it. To be clear.
No.
So I will start Kaylin Sheridan in net. For our defenders, let's do Kadisha Buchanan, Vanessa Gilles, and Jade Rose. I, of course, am a strong Jade Rose proponent. I would like to see Gabrielle Carl on the left wing back position, and I would never deprive myself of Ashley Lawrence in the right wing back position. You have to enjoy watching Ashley Lawrence play whenever you can. I want to see Simi Awujo and Jessie Fleming in the midfield. I also want to see, so that's 7, 8. I would like to see up front. I would like to see, I'm really here for Olivia Smith. I want to see Evelyn Vian start as well. I need her to really confirm to Bev Priestman that she has a place in a starting 11 in this Canadian national team. And that leaves me with one spot left to fill, if I'm not mistaken. And I want Evelyn Vian to be the center forward, just to be clear. I think Olivia Smith has enough pace and enough energy in her to support in kind of a wider role. And along with those two up top, let's
Becky or
go.
Lacasse?
I'm going to say Lacasse.
Wow, so you would bench Janine Becky.
I know.
Wow. That's tough.
It's a friendly, okay?
I know, it's tough. It's
a friendly. And it's a friendly in Quebec, so let Gabrielle Carl start.
I know. Honestly, I really love your starting 11. That would be my starting 11 too.
Oh, wow.
100%. I wouldn't change anything in the starting 11.
Well
but
done.
If I have to guess what Bev Priestman will do, I don't think we'll see Gabrielle Carl. I think we'll see either Jade Rivière. Yeah. Either Jade Rivière or Ashley Lawrence on the left, with Janine Becky maybe on the right.
Okay.
I still hope that we're not going to see Heidema and we're going to see Vian, but I have a feeling that it's going to be Heidema and not Vian up front.
Yeah.
And the rest, I think, is going to be spot on. Maybe Adriana Leon for Olivia Smith on the right.
I could honestly, and I could live with that.
Yeah.
Not the other stuff that you mentioned, but I could live with Adriana Leon starting over Olivia Smith. I think I just so love watching Olivia Smith. The little bit that we did get to see of her in the W Gold Cup. In her starts, I thought she was so dynamic, so interesting. She had such a nose and such great instincts that I would just give anything to see her start. And all the more so, honestly, for me, if you have a player like Heidema, I think a player like Olivia Smith would be so complimentary to her. Just her impact on the pitch is just so fascinating that. Anyway, we'll see what Bev Priestman decides on. Hopefully, maybe it'll be somewhere in between what you and I decided, and I think realistically, both of us would be able to live with that.
Yeah, let's wait and see. But I think it's gonna be interesting. I think it's gonna be very interesting. Hopefully, Bev will make the right choices this time. Hopefully, if Vian gets the start, she's not substituted at the 45th minute, because the last time she was substituted at the 45th minute. If you're expecting Evelyne Vian to build up play, you just don't understand soccer. She's a poacher. She's not gonna play. She's a poacher. She's a goal scorer. That's what she is. She's gonna participate a bit sometimes in the build-up, but not more than that. So use her the right way, because she's gonna be the fox in the box most of the time. Yeah. That's her role. And she's gonna score important goals. And we saw it last time when she scores that header in the last tournament. So let's wait and see, but hopefully we'll see good things from Beth Friesman on Saturday. I can't wait, honestly. I can't wait. I think it's going to be a very interesting, very, very interesting game.
I agree. I'm really excited.
Yeah, exactly. So that's it for this topic, unless you have anything else to add on the Canadian women's national team.
Just my excitement.
Good. Perfect. And I think that's going to wrap up our podcast for tonight. Eve, thanks a lot for being here with me. It's very, very interesting. It's good to have you back.
Yes. Fun. Let us hope I stay in good health for the next little while.
And hopefully next week will be all three of us available this time around. Guys, as you can see, our content is always going to be free. You guys know that. You guys know the song. But if you want to help us grow the product, please feel free to join our Patreon page. Thanks for all the people that have joined already. And we never say it enough. But thanks a lot. And as you can see, guys, we're trying to improve. As you can see with that video that came, that was here today. And we'll get more, hopefully, in the future. So feel free to join our Patreon page. That's it for tonight for the episode 181. We'll see you next week with episode 182 of The Ball is Round.